Have you ever wanted to build an airplane or some kind of aircraft, but found that, unfortunately, you aren't the owner of a multi-billion-dollar defense company named Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman, or perhaps even Boeing? Well, today, in this video, we're going to discuss the perfect solution for you. Because much like me, I'm willing to bet that you're the kind of person that likes to design and build your own things, and this game is the perfect way to do just that. Hello everyone, my name is Nick, and welcome to Flyout, the long-awaited aviation game. So I have been waiting for this to fully release for months now. I got involved with the Discord a while ago. I wasn't able to get an early access key, which is just fine, but this game is developed by an individual named Stone, single-person dev team as far as I can tell, and it basically is like Kerbal Space Program 2 meets like simple planes. You just design aircraft and you fly them. And today we're going to take a look at what this game is all about, some of the basics, and we're just going to tinker around a little bit and see what we can find out. Okay, so first things first here, we're on the main menu. Right now this is very early access. It's available on Steam. Link will be in the description. Support the developer. So we just have our editor, settings menu, quit, obviously. So we'll go into the editor. I have played a little bit before. So what I'll do first is I'll show you one of the very basic crafts that I've created. Actually, even better, we'll load one of the crafts that comes with the game, say the Griffin here. Okay, so at first it looks very complicated, but in reality it's not as bad as you might think. So the way that Flyout works is this craft is composed of a bunch of different parts. You can see your parts list on the right side here. It all starts with this dude in the cockpit right here. This fella, we'll call him Bill. Bill wants to make a fighter jet. So what Bill does is he hits this plus button here, and he's got these different categories of parts that he can use. So we've got fuselage parts, lift, so wings and all that. Power parts like engines, intakes, propellers, all this good stuff. You then put all these parts together in this sort of configuration, and, you know, a little bit of magic, and suddenly you have a plane. So you can see this plane also has weapons. The game currently has some limited weapons support. You can see here's our beautiful exhaust here. This is a turbine. That is really cool. So we have a fuselage section here. So you'll see on the right it says procedural fuselage, right? So if I click on open fuselage editor, what we have here, 1, 2, 3, and so on. These are different sections, which you can see in this editor here. And what the game does is it draws lines between each of those sections and sort of extrudes to form the actual shape of the fuselage. So for example, let's demonstrate here. I will just go new aircraft just for demonstration purposes. So let's say I wanted to build a fuselage for something. Okay, yeah, circle, great, yay, circle. So I click on my circle, I go to the fuselage editor, and this is the circle shape. And you can see which section I'm editing by this box right here. So let's go to section 1, and let's say I don't like circles, I want to make a weird shape. Well, first let's turn on the mirror because symmetrical is a must. So let's just make the strangest looking airplane you ever saw. Yeah, that looks good. So now you can see that is our fuselage section. But let's say we want to add another section. You hit extrude fuselage here, and you pull this next section out. Now, right now, it has the same footprint as section 1. But let's say we wanted to go back to the round section because we've changed our mind about circles. We can load the round section back up and use this as sort of I think there's actually a way to just apply that, but I'm just gonna manually fix this. There we go. And you can see we've got this weird abomination here of a fuselage section. So what I could do now is I could get even more creative and, let's say I want to make a really weird, I don't know, like square kind of almost deal. Guys, I'm an engineer, so I do this professionally, so you should totally trust me. Yes, this is a good-looking airplane we have here. But you get the point. Basically, you can procedurally create anything that you want in the game, which gives you an incredible amount of creative freedom. So the next thing is we have our power sources. So from what I understand right now, you've got your turbine, put this here, ramjet, everybody loves a good ramjet, your piston engines, of course, turbochargers, gearbox, exhaust stack, electric motors, all this good stuff, right? Obviously, piston engines, you need to attach propellers. Turbines work best at subsonic speeds, and ramjets are for anything supersonic. This is a really funky looking little car we got Bill in here, right? Right, Bill? Yeah, Bill likes this. So you can also, this is what's really cool, is you can actually tweak everything about the turbine, from the fan to the compression to the combustor, the actual turbine. I mean, this is absurd. High bypass, low bypass, none. It's insane. Like, I can just big turbine, small turbine. It's that easy, guys. This is how you design airplanes. Lockheed Martin, I'm going to take your contracts if you're not careful. Power turbine. Yeah, so you can customize all this stuff about the engines. We won't get into the nitty-gritty in this video. I'm just trying to show you guys why I think this game is really cool. So let's delete all of Bill's horrible, horrible motors here. The final thing is procedural wings, something that Kerbal Space Program 2 has. But I think this is a really elegant implementation. So yes, this is what a plane looks like, in case you've never seen one before. If I go to the wing, you can see I've got all this stuff on it here. I can kind of twist these if I choose. Put that back to 0 is going to be impossible. Don't need to worry about that. Tip twist, obvious settings. The real cool part though, if I hit the wing editor button, I get these 4 pink nodes here. And what this allows me to do, click on the node, and I can make the wing look like whatever I want. And if you want to get really funky with it, so you can see this is 2 straight lines right now, but if I take this point in further, we get sort of I believe that's parabolic or maybe exponential curve there. And you can see that the wing forms this really cool looking curve. But we're not going to do that for this demonstration. We're just going to give Bill the simple wings that he wants. When we're finished with that, we hit the check mark, we click on the wing again. Of course, a wing has to have a leading edge, which is just fancy talk for a smooth edge. So we hit standard, and that's just applied this nice smooth edge to the front. Now, the trailing edge, we hit standard. Now you'll notice we also can select our leading and trailing edge. What's really cool about this is that we can click on this trailing edge here, which you can basically think of as an aileron or maybe an elevator. And in this blue section here, you can add responses. So let's say I want to make these elevators. I would make them pitch controlled, and I say I don't actually know what this value does. I've been setting it to 20, but higher value means bigger response as far as I can tell. And then I would also want to set this one to pitch 20. Now, if I wanted to make them elevons, which are basically elevators that also function as ailerons, I could add a roll response, say 20 for this side, but then I would have to say negative 20 for this side because, they're going to actuate in opposite directions to roll the craft. Anyway, you can make some really, really cool stuff with these features. We also have the obvious landing gear, landing skid. There are weapons which I haven't really experimented with yet, but the basic configuration is you get your hard point and then you mount your weapon to it. That's how it goes. This is quite an interesting looking plane we've got here. You can also use all these different joints if you want to get really fancy. There's a bunch of cosmetic stuff. Anyway, what you're about to witness is a time lapse of the hours that I spent figuring out the basics of this game, and then we're going to do some flying around. Let's just say the learning curve is a little steep, and in the future I will make a tutorial, but for now you just get to watch me suffer through it. So the very first craft that we're going to be flying today is called the basic plane, because this is the first functional aircraft that I could actually make work. And this took way longer than I'm willing to admit. I'm hoping you guys see this and you feel less embarrassed about your own designs. Also, fun fact, I did not close the tail because lazy. This has a few cool features, though, that are a good demonstration of what the game is capable of. For one thing, I tweaked the fuselage shape here to space our landing gear out a little bit. You can see it's got that interesting sort of diamond shape from the bottom. Got all our customized control surfaces and procedural wings. And we have this nice prefab cockpit with our friend Bill in there. Now, one of the nice things about early access games is they don't always make sense. So I've buried the turbine engine inside the fuselage and it works just fine. So let's fly this thing. You click this top left button here. Another thing you can do is you can actually tweak the spawn settings for your craft. So let's say you wanted to spawn in the air at a certain speed, you could do that. Okay, let's see here. I hope that's not too loud. I don't think it is. Okay. So shift and control are your throttle. And then obviously you have Q and E for your... Okay, I have no control. Q and E, WASD, all that good stuff. So let's throttle up here. Now this thing is a little bit unstable on the runway, but that's fine. Okay, come on, buddy. You can do it. Take off for the first time, basic plane. There she goes. Okay, gear up. Gear up, please. And we are off, ladies and gentlemen. Our first flight in Flyout. I have a feeling this game holds great things in store for us. So a couple basics of flight while we're up here. The most important of which is the X button. So if you hold down X on your keyboard and then press a control input, if you look in the bottom left here, you'll see that the percentage of my pitch is changing. That is trimming the control. So basically, if you look at the elevators, you can see they're trimmed slightly upward. There we go. So what I've done is I've set the elevators in that position so that even without any control input, the plane flies relatively straight. You could also trim all your other control inputs and all that cool stuff. So let's do a little turn here. Let's just turn around back towards the landing strip. The world that you fly around in, it's kind of empty right now. I mean, it's an early access game. These things are to be expected. But I think in the future they're planning to implement sort of a mission-based system. And you can spawn in enemies. I don't really know how that works. But I know you can spawn a SAM, a tank, and something else in this menu right here. We'll look at that in a moment. The next really cool feature that you can get here is autopilot. This is awesome. I love that they built this in from the start. So let's say we want to cruise at 2,000 meters. And let's just say we could specify a speed, but I just want to go as fast as possible. So I'll say Mach 4, because there's no way this plane can go Mach 4. Move our window over. Gonna hit engage. There it goes. And we've actually given this plane a heading. And you can see it's trying to turn towards that heading of 0. I'm actually gonna change that to 180. There we go. Beautiful. All right, cool. And now our plane is fully in autopilot mode here. So we can hit V to choose different views. This is the cockpit view, obviously. Really cool. You know, you could add all kind of cosmetics in there. For this particular plane, you can see the fuel is located in the wings. So what's our altitude at? We're at right about 2,000 meters. Our heading is a little off of target, but not bad. There you have it. She flies. Cruising at just below the speed of sound. This is about Mach 0.8 or 0.9. There is a way to tell. Is it down here? No. Okay, I don't know where it is. But anyway, if you'll allow me to gush about this game for a minute. We have all of these readouts of numbers down here regarding the plane and its performance. We have this sort of display here. You've got your angle of attack, the G's you're currently pulling. If I click on, you've got your atmospheric conditions in the top left here. this is a really cool and very well made platform. There are industry companies that actually make airplanes. You can actually see a little bit of supersonic shockwave there. Yeah, there are industry companies that try to use software to design aircraft that, sure, it might be more elegant than this, but at the end of the day, equations are equations, and even though it's a video game, like, you can get pretty close to modeling real-world behaviors using something like this, and that's why I think it's really, really cool. I will be fully behind this game as it gets developed. I'm going to sink a bunch of time into it. We're going to do a tutorial series on it as well to help you guys learn. But yeah, if you want to support the developers, pick the game up yourself. It's pretty reasonably priced, I think. $20 early access. Again, link will be in the description. But I've had enough fun with this plane. Goodbye, buddy. Nice. So let's go ahead back to the hangar and load a fresh plane. So this is the next plane I'm going to have us fly today. This is called the Dart. And I've just noticed the landing gear floating. Whoops. Basically, actually, no, it's called the Supersonic, the SS-1. Very simple plane. We have these turbojet engines here. We have intakes on them, which I believe are purely cosmetic. I'm not sure, though. And then underneath here, we have ramjets. So this is the first plane I designed to be supersonic. I played around with the procedural wings, got them a little funky here. You can see we have a handy center of lift indicator in blue and center of mass in yellow. Rule of thumb for that, center of lift should always be just slightly behind your CG. The reason being, if it's in front of the CG, it creates instability. There's a whole bunch of science that goes into that, but we won't waste time on that. Let's fly this thing. Let's see how it does. The ramjets, the thing is they don't operate at low speeds, low Mach numbers. So you need the turbine engines to get this thing up to speed in the first place. So let's throttle up here. What a pretty looking plane. A little janky for sure, but not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, this guy's a bit heavier, so we got to get going quite a bit faster. Let's do cockpit view for this one. So at 100 meters per second, I will pitch us up. There we go. Pitch up. Okay, not quite enough. Got this handy dandy indicator here. Come on, buddy. Take off. Come on. There she goes. Okay, little instability. Let's stow the gear. There we go. And the ramjets have kicked on. So up we climb. Sure is fast. So the first thing you want to do anytime you take off, of course, is to do your trimming to get all of your controls correct. I mean, that's not a bad looking plane. I've seen better. I've seen a lot worse. I've made a lot worse. In a lot of ways, this game has features that I wish Kerbal Space Program 2 did. Building vehicles in this game feels a lot more intuitive than it does in KSP2. And I do believe you can go out of the atmosphere, or at least above it. If not, I'm sure there are plans for that, because it is aerospace after all. Let's do a basic turn here. Oh, she spins. She spins fast. So the other thing that I could do, I've created quite a bit of instability here, actually. All right, let's level off. Up. There you go. So I could turn off my turbines. Oh no. There we go. Okay. And now we are on pure ramjet power. Let's execute a turn. The other thing I haven't figured out yet, landing. I'm not very good at it. I don't know how to apply the brakes. I think... Oh shoot, we're gonna stall. Pitch down. Oh no, the ramjets are down. Ah, throttle up, throttle up, throttle up. There we go. Okay. And the ramjets are back. Yeah, so I assume you have to add air brakes to your crafts to get them to actually land. I haven't bothered doing that because why would I? So, okay. I'm not even going to bother trying to land this thing. You can see it's pretty nimble, a little unstable. not the best craft in the world. The last thing I want to do, I would like to fly one of the Prebuilts. So if we go to load aircraft here, I mean, what are these? The radial? Oh, that's so cool. So there's all different eras you can do here. You can see this piston engine in there. Radial, air-cooled. So again, if I go to my piston engine here, power, engine, I could customize all these things about it, like inline, radial, liquid cooled. Ah, so cool, so cool. But that's for another day. Let's focus on the mission here. What are the others? Griffin we looked at, F-42. Very, very nice. You can see we've got weapons here, I believe those are. Yeah, rocket pods. Hellfires. I think those fire Hellfires. I'm not sure. And the AH-67. Is that a helicopter? No way. Okay, we gotta try the helicopter. We gotta. There's no way this thing works well. I'll be really impressed if a single man wrote a better physics engine than a whole team of developers. Okay. Now I probably have to... I have to go... Oh! Oh, that's so cool. Okay, the gun works. Now, how do I get you to go up? Okay, let's check our controls. I never do these things in advance. So, maybe 4 and 3, maybe. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, that is so cool. So, I'm sure you guys can see the potential that this game has just from this brief demonstration. Can we do a flip? Whoa! Nice. Look at how the rotors are even bending. Oh, that is so impressive. Okay, I think I broke it. Come on, buddy. Okay, no one should let me pilot a helicopter. Let's try one more plane. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the F-42. Here she is, absolutely beautiful. You can see we have 2 people on this one. Really, really well made. We got our fuel tanks here, which we can drop. Got our engines back here, which I believe have thrust vectoring. Let's see how she flies. Ooh, look at those red trail. Oh. Gosh, this is a beautiful game. Okay, would be good if we stayed on the runway, but I'm not picky. Do whatever you want. Okay, there we go. And up. And up. There we go. Oh, flies like a dream. Wow, that is cool. So let's get our trims right here. Now you can see what they've done here is they've actually attached a wing to a wing, and that's how we have a control surface here and a different control surface there. So that's actually like a split elevon or split aileron. That's really cool. Let's test our weapons. Pitch down here. Oh, okay, we're about to break the speed of sound. That's what that shock cone is that you see. Notice how it got quiet? When you travel faster than the speed of sound, that's how that goes. That is really, really cool. Let's test these rockets. I pressed the wrong button? Maybe? Weapons. Rocket pod. Okay. Maybe I can fire them manually. Oh. Nope. Okay. Not sure. I must be doing something wrong. Let's see how the autopilot handles something like this. So if I put you on autopilot, I want you to turn completely around, so 180 degrees. Let's say 3,000 meters. Oh, not 30. And Mach 2. Okay. Let's see how the AI handles that. So you see the screen reddening. That's from the excessive G's that we're pulling from these maneuvers. Is it turning? It is, I see. Slowly but surely. So you can see up here in the top left the atmospheric conditions. 255K, that's Kelvin. I forget the actual conversion, but I think it's Celsius plus 237 or plus 234, something like that. And the pressure in kilopascals. Yeah, this is a really cool game. I mean, I think that with the future edition of enemies that you can actually fight, missions that you can fly, all sorts of stuff like that, I think it will be really, really exceptional. I'm going to try to build some crazy stuff with the interface that they've given us. But yeah, if this is something you or you think you might be interested in, you should pick it up on the Steam store. It's only $20, which I think is pretty reasonable. I'll be doing a tutorial series on this, so if you're worried you might not be able to figure it out, don't fret, we'll figure it out together. And we have a Discord server, so if you join that, I will help you out as well. But yeah, this is a super cool game. I'm really psyched to see people making stuff like this that lets you do actual design in an accessible way. So, looking forward to making more content on this, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.